Hello and welcome to my take on the Mantis stem wobble issue. There are, as far as I know, 4 points where there can be wobble and what can cause the wobble of the stem. One thing that is often mentioned is that you have to really tighten this thing here, this nut. Yeah, it holds the lower stem part and sits on so here, yeah, it holds this part, it holds the part with the wheel. If you screw this here tight, yeah, and sits on this bearing here, yeah, so that if you have it tight, it can still, the whole thing can still turn. Yeah. I have screwed this here tight. I've screwed the big screw from the big bolt from the bottom up with this part very tight. Yeah, and still I had wobble. And I was not sure how this could be. Yeah? The wobble was also the stem and the wheel was stiff together, but it was wobbling against this part here. Yeah? So it was like this. So this was very good fit, but it was still wobbling here. Yeah? One thing that I had was here, this part is screwed to the main body. And these screws were a little bit not very tight, yeah. So I tightened them up, and I still had wobble here, yeah. And what I think is the cause that it still wobbles if everything is tight is that this bearing here should have a very tight fit inside of this of this hole. And it shouldn't fall out easily, or you shouldn't be able to take it out that easily. But I can, yeah. And if I have it in here, I can, you see it maybe, I can move it around. Let's say it's 0.5 millimeter or so, yeah. And this causes the wobble, because even if this part here is very stiff up there and very stiff screwed down, it can still move around, and you really can't help with that, because it's yeah, there is space and it can move around. I will try to hopefully this works. Yeah, I put a very thin piece of aluminium on the outer side here, and hope that this stops this bearing from moving. Yeah? So this is what can be a cause why you can't get rid of this wobble, because this bearing is also one here on the underside. I will check that also, and this may also have a loose fit and move around. So this is one of the other things that you have to check. On why, if everything else is okay, the stem may still move. My solution looks a little bit like this. It's a thick plastic foil from a bag, so it was a really thick bag comparatively. Maybe for there's for painting or painting a wall, yeah. You have this kind of foil that that you can buy in a thicker version, and yeah, I used it, pressed the bearing on top of it, and it's on, I think it's 0.15 millimeters thick, so it's 0.3 in total all around. Yeah? I will take a knife and cut out everything, and also here the remaining parts, so that it's clean again, and try if that helps with the wobble. Another thing you can do to secure these two parts together, if you have one of the first versions of the Mantis, you have these cut out here and can put small screws in it. I use M3 with 6 millimeters and a cylindrical head. They look like this. The 8mm screws are a little bit too long and may touch the bearings underneath, so I use only the 6mm one. You can secure them, but you must really be aware that depending on if you how this stands here, yeah, it can be a little bit to the side. You can have 4 to 6 screws, and they are only a very, very last resort, so you can't really ride with them. And if the main bolt fails, these screws will fail as well. Yeah, so maybe they save you a little bit on a little time, but if you notice any wobble or anything, please stop riding and check your main bolt, because these screws will break eventually very fast.